What's up, y'all? Born Shining here. I'm Born Shining, you're Born Shining, we all Born Shining. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. So, before we get started, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Universal Life Force, great creator, spirit which moves through all things. I want to give a shout out to Ra, the Ascended Masters, Archangels, Spirit Guides, Spirit Animals, my crossed over loved ones, and all my friends, known and unknown, seen and unseen. And this little video is going to be about healing, among other things, and the idea of healing, why people are so averse to healing, and how you isolate yourself when you're healing. And I think a large part of that has to do with if you're going to heal yourself, then you can't be doing the same things that other people are doing who aren't trying to do that. You know? Like, for example, I sit in my car at lunch. Sometimes I sit in the back, depending on the weather. There's a different arrangement, but essentially I meditate, you know? And to me, that's more important. Meditation is a means to heal. And how that happens is, I don't know if we have enough time for that here, but suffice it to say that when you stop your thoughts, you change your chemistry and you allow your body to do what it naturally wants to do. And depending on where you are at with your beliefs in terms of how the body is organized and all of these different kinds of things, you're essentially stopping your thoughts so that you can allow your body to do what it wants, because it's your thoughts that are keeping you from being healthy. So when you meditate, you stop your thoughts. And then your body, because your body's always trying to achieve homeostasis. And when you think thoughts and you have feelings and you have a feeling and a thought, and you go down these rabbit holes of thinking about things you've done in the past, exes, whatever the case is, you're changing your chemistry, which affects your biology. So meditation is a form of healing. It's a means to heal. And I think for this example, me sitting in my car, healing means more to me than how I look. What do people think about this guy sitting in his car meditating? Or this guy sitting out the back of his car with his shoes off in the grass meditating? And I can say I used to care about that kind of stuff. I used to care what people thought. I used to care how people perceived me. And at this point, I really don't. I don't care so much. And I think that's a major factor when it comes to healing and why people heal, why some people don't heal. It takes a strong character to to follow your heart, do what you know is the right thing to do for you amidst a sea of people who you know are going to judge you for that, or maybe not judge you, but they're just going to look at you funny, ask questions, maybe talk behind your back. It takes a really strong person to push through all of that stuff and do it anyway, because you know it's the right thing to do. And I mean, you don't have to be doing it in public. You don't have to be so open, you know, about it. You can do a lot of these things in the privacy of your own home. Um, but for me, I'm at work. I get a certain number of breaks. I want to make the most of my time at work. So that's what I do. Um, that's how I spend some of my time on breaks at work. Another thing that I think is maybe two other things that people struggle with when it comes to healing is doing new things. And part of the doing new things is learning new things. And again, that kind of ties back into the first point that I made in that it's it's challenging to learn new things and grow when you're surrounded by people who don't want to do that. They maybe it's conscious, maybe it's not, but they don't. Change is uncomfortable. All growth is uncomfortable. But what's even more uncomfortable is not growing and staying stagnant in who you are, not learning new things. That's even more uncomfortable. Um, I mean, I think so. So, if you want to heal, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. If you want to grow, you need to befriend discomfort. And I'm not talking about, there's different types of discomfort, but I mean, it's just not comfortable. I'm not saying it has to hurt or it has to be painful or it has to be, you know, like literally when you stretch your muscles, you stretch, you get to the max that your muscles can handle. It's not comfortable. It's you're stretching yourself. So when you relax the muscle and you take a deep breath, you exhale and you go back into the stretch, you go a little bit further. I mean, that's kind of what this is like. It's do what you can, take a little break, and then get back at it and go a little bit further. But the idea that you need to be comfortable with discomfort is very real, and it takes a lot of courage to take these kinds of actions, especially when you're surrounded by people who have no interest in the same goals that you do. They don't want to be healthy. They don't want to take control of their life. They want to be negative. They want to talk shit about how bad the world is and all of this kind of stuff. Quick story. There's a girl at my work. She's a senior in high school, and I had a couple minutes to chat with her the other day, and she was telling me how she's excited to be graduating, but she's nervous about graduating at the same time. And I asked her why, and she said, "Well, it's scary. She's scared." And she's saying that people are telling her that life is hard. Everything just gets harder. Um, and that really hit my heart. It hit my heart because this is the truth that people um, this is how people operate. This is what they tell people, you know? They believe the bullshit and then they tell the children, "Oh, life is hard. Life is brutal. It's only going to get harder from here." Um I don't believe that. And I shared my thoughts about life as much as I could in a couple minutes that we had to talk. But to give her a little bit of a different perspective and give her a little bit more hope about her life. I mean, This is her life we're talking about, you know? And if your attitude affects your altitude, how far do you think people are going to get who think that life is hard and everything needs to be a struggle? You know what I mean? And there's lots of reasons to back this up, but I'll mention this real quick and then I'll wrap it up. You know, people are very suggestible, meaning that, and there's studies that have been done on this, meaning that if you tell a group of students that certain people in the class are going to do better, those people in the class are going to do better. Doctors handing out diagnosis, you know, fatal diagnosis, telling people they've got 3 months to live, 6 months to live, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of power in that, especially when the people who are hearing those words believe it, whether they know better or not. So just be mindful of the things that you're saying to people and what you're putting out there into the world. And just be more mindful of that. And if you're going to tell people anything, you know, give them hope. Tell them something positive. And I'm not talking about false hope. I'm talking about real hope. Like the world is a beautiful place. Life is an incredible gift. And there's no sense in telling children that life is hard. I don't care if it was hard for you. You don't tell that to you don't tell that to children with their whole life ahead of them. So, just some thoughts that I had today, you know, be courageous and be you know, fear is always going to rear its ugly head. It's what you do with that fear that determines what kind of person you are, you know? And I mean, I have I listen to a lot of different people. I'm very open to information to a certain degree. And I hear a lot of people talking about, you know, there's this MMA fighter, UFC fighter. His name is Chael Sonnen, and he's a very good fighter. And you would think that somebody like him with his record and his abilities that he wouldn't be afraid, and that you would think that some of these people with all that they've accomplished, you know, special military special forces or whatever, you would think that some of these people just they wouldn't even know fear, but you'd be absolutely wrong. It's what you do when you feel that fear and how do you respond to that fear that makes you the kind of person that you are. And so push through the fear. If you're experience, yeah, it's scary to feel alone in a world that is seemingly so connected. You know, when it like for me, I woke up in a dream, and I woke up from a dream where I saw my own death. I felt like I woke up from a spell, and there was nobody around me that wanted to listen, and there was nobody around me that wanted to support me. And so for the next 8 months, 9 months to a year, I was on my own, figuring things out, listening to tarot. But I mean, there was nobody around me physically who could really help me, and I didn't have a lot of resources and yada yada yada. So yeah, it's scary. But you know what? When you have yourself, you're never alone. And when you learn to be your own best friend, you that's when you truly become unstoppable. When you don't need other people. Sure, we all want a loving relationship, maybe, you know. We all want we I mean, these are part of human needs, like love, community. So it's not even so much of is it something that you want? Like to some degree or another, we all need these things to be functional, fully functioning human beings. And it takes courage to step away from these things. If you find yourself in a toxic, dysfunctional environment or whatever, you need to, it takes a lot of courage to step away and learn to be with yourself before you can be with other people. Because, I mean, let's face it, most people are in some way, shape, or form people pleasing or focusing, putting their focus on external things. And so when you learn to be your own best friend and you learn to not give a hoot about how people are going to take you and perceive you, and you're strong enough in your self-knowing and your self-love to be who you are, authentically be who you are, you will find your tribe, and it will, and that investment in time and energy will be more than worth it, because nothing lasts forever. Not this life, not the highs, not the lows. And so it's important to keep that in mind when you're going through these types of things, healing or spiritual awakening or finding a new job, whatever you're doing, you know. But dig in, be patient with yourself, and you'll get there. So yeah, that's all I got for now. I'll probably pump out another one or two today. It's my day off. All right. Love y'all. Peace. Have a great day.